In the hallowed halls of justice, is a name enough to silence the truth? Imagine a 19-year-old boy walking into a courtroom not with a lawyer, but with a private army of federal agents and a legacy that reaches the highest office in the land. This isn't just a story about a bar fight, it's a profound examination of the rule of law versus the rule of bloodlines. Today, we deconstruct a moment that shocked the nation, the day a humble history teacher stood his ground against a presidential dynasty. Was it political persecution, or was it the ultimate act of accountability? Let's dive deep into the trial that proved no one is too powerful to be touched by justice. The atmosphere in the Rhode Island courtroom that Tuesday morning was unlike anything the local staff had ever seen. It felt less like a legal proceeding and more like a military operation. Secret Service agents conducted sweeps, bomb-sniffing dogs patrolled the aisles, and the air was thick with the scent of institutional power. When the defendant entered, the room went silent. At 19 years old, he carried himself with the unearned confidence of someone who has never been told no. Flanked by three of the highest-paid attorneys in the country, one of whom was a former Solicitor General, he wore a designer suit and a luxury watch that cost more than many people's annual salaries. His presence sent a clear message to the court: I am not here to be judged, I am here to be excused. Sitting in the front row, starkly contrasted against this display of wealth, was David Martinez. A 52-year-old high school history teacher. No security, no famous name, just a folder of police reports and the quiet dignity of a man who had been wronged. His glasses were still held together by tape, a physical reminder of the night his life changed. This wasn't just a confrontation between two men, it was a collision between two different Americas. One side represented the quiet, hard-working middle class that believes in the system, and the other represented the armored privilege that believes it owns the system. The stakes couldn't have been higher for the integrity of the judicial process. The incident occurred at a downtown nightclub, a place where the defendant shouldn't have been in the first place. Using a fraudulent ID, a crime he dismissed as a college rite of passage, he entered a world where he expected total deference. When Martinez accidentally brushed past him in a crowded line, the defendant didn't see an accident, he saw a challenge to his status. He slammed the teacher into a wall, shattering his glasses and his sense of safety. But the physical assault was only the beginning. He then uttered the words that would define the case: "Do you know who I am? My father was president. One phone call and your life is over." In that moment, the defendant wasn't just a bully, he was a symptom of a systemic disease where power is used as a weapon of silence. Why does someone feel comfortable threatening a citizen with their father's influence? This requires a deep psychological analysis of dynastic entitlement. When a child is raised in the shadow of immense political power, the boundaries of the law often appear as mere suggestions. To the defendant, the rule of law was something his father wrote for other people to follow. This mindset creates a dangerous vacuum where accountability is seen as persecution. During the trial, when his attorneys argued for special protection based on political threats, they were essentially asking the court to validate his narcissism. They were asking for a different tier of justice, one where the defendant's comfort is prioritized over the victim's safety. When David Martinez took the stand, he did more than just recount the assault. He delivered a lecture on the soul of the country. "I teach my students that the Constitution is just paper unless we choose to give it life," he testified. His voice was steady, even when he revealed the intimidation he faced outside the courtroom. The mysterious phone calls, the warnings that teachers are replaceable, the subtle threats to his career, these were the desperate attempts of a powerful machine trying to crush a single pebble. Martinez's refusal to back down was a revolutionary act. He reminded the court that a citizen's rights are not for sale, no matter how many agents or lawyers are standing in the way. The defense's narrative of political victimhood finally crumbled when the prosecutor played the security footage. There was no provocation, no self-defense, just raw, unadulterated aggression. The judge's ruling was swift and uncompromising. "You are an adult," she told the defendant. "You violated multiple laws, and you attempted to use political power to silence your victim. This is not persecution, this is the law." When the verdict of guilty echoed through the room, the defendant's mask finally slipped. He shouted that his father would fix this, a final, desperate cry from someone who couldn't conceive of a world where he wasn't protected. But the gavel had already fallen. The fix was not coming. Weeks later, the ruling stood. David Martinez returned to his classroom, not as a celebrity, but as a teacher with a new story to tell. He doesn't tell it to brag, he tells it to prove that democracy is a choice we make every day. If we allow even one person to be above the law because of their name, the entire foundation of our society begins to rot. This case serves as a vital reminder: influence may open doors, but it should never be able to close the doors of justice. The Rhode Island courtroom proved that in a true republic, the teacher and the prince are equals before the bench. This story forces us to look in the mirror. Do you believe our system is truly capable of holding the most powerful among us accountable? Or was this case a rare exception to a darker rule? We want to hear your analysis. How would you have reacted if you were in David Martinez's shoes? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you believe that accountability is the cornerstone of justice, hit the like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories that define our world. This is about more than just one trial, it's about the future of the law. Thank you for watching.